Ladies and gentlemen, Kim here, and welcome to the daily update. Hope you guys had a good day trading today. Market is up about 0.8% on the S&P. Nasdaq did the same today. Semiconductor and the Dow and Russell 2000 up about 1.5% or a little less today. Transport is pretty much flat today. Banks up a little bit, along with the energy sector there. Biotech made a recovery today, 1.5% positive. Same with the healthcare and home builders. So it looks like retail, however, led the way today with the 2.2% positive. Utilities down today, right? Along with the only red prints we see here on the equities is that we got the transport and the utilities there. Retail average down to up 2%. Along with the emerging market also up 2% today. So these two guys are leading the market today. Bitcoin is down about 3% there. Gold, silver, miners down a little bit. GDX is slightly green though. We got the dollar pretty much flat. Oil is up a little bit with 2% positive. Actually quite a bit, 2% move today. While the energy is only up 0.7% today. Treasury bond is negative 1%. VIX is down 7%. Let's stick with the S&P 500 ETF. Spider, 65-minute chart here. So this was an important pivot we talked about on the last night's update, right? And some of the things we also talked about was that this down gap was filled. But what happened was when the down gap got filled, it did not act as resistance. And more often than not, it does. So when we did see that continuation for the last 3 hours on the yesterday's trading session, we talked about how it's gonna favor the buyers, going forward just because the momentum that has been built. But we also talked about that this is a resistance, important resistance level, and we just gapped it up. This when you see at an important pivotal level, when market gaps up above it, basically the buyers are saying, I don't want to deal with this resistance area. I'm just going to jump over the fence. So you get much more smooth transition to the upside. So you can see that we saw a big gap up. We held it, big bullish candle there, but it might have been too much a push just in 1 hour. But with that, what happened was majority of this, you can see right here, majority of that gap was filled. Only problem is about 30% or 25% or so, that gap was not fully filled. The entirety of this gap wasn't fully filled. We left a little bit. That could be a problem in the short term. And with that, you can already see buyers are losing confidence throughout the entire day after the first hour. So people jumped in right at open. They're just bailing here. They're like, oh, I don't know what's going on. They're just bailing, right? So you can see first hour, second hour, third hour, fourth hour, fifth hour, sixth hour. So only gain we actually saw today was that gap up, 0.9% on the S&P. That looks like a 0.9% gap up. And then we just came back down to that level, which is a support level, right? So bulls should have closed the remainder of that gap, leaving a little bit behind. It actually is going to make things a little bit hacked, and it already did. You can see right here, right? Usually we could see some kind of bull flagging pattern, stay above the 50% of that candle, maybe the next day to push higher if would have kind of filled that gap. But because the gap wasn't fully filled, you can see the first hour gain, not including the gap up, but just first hour, the intraday gain, the trading hour gain, right, was completely evaporated with second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth hours of a downturn there. It's just been slowly losing its momentum, came right back down to 430. Good news is though, the gap area is going to provide support. I'm going to actually move this up here because So now that bears are, just right on that entrance area. So this is the first up gap we've seen in a while, and it's been sustained at least for a day. It's been sustained, and it's a pretty nice, decent size gap up. So we held this level, and buyers must protect this level. Let's say bears continue to bring it down tomorrow. Buyers want to make sure to keep at least some of it open. It's going to be better for the bulls. And not to mention, the short-term moving average is now residing at 436.36. You can see it's coming down. Now it's right here, so we're also kind of telling us that this is 436.69 is important level. So let's say bears come down, fill the half of this gap, and if the bulls can protect this level, right? That's a level where the short-term moving average is residing. That's still going to be very much bullish in the short to micro term. And what bulls want to do and finish the job that they were not able to do today. This gap still remaining open. If this gap, the longer this gap stays open, the longer it's gonna be hectic. Tomorrow's Friday, so as soon as possible, buyers want to get up, fill this gap, and then make a way for next week for to attack this gap there, right? So obviously, it is imperative that there was some big move here on the first hour. I think bears got shocked with that move today, but I think bears got lucky when bulls were not able to quite stretch just a little bit more to fill this gap. So I think if bears can keep bringing it down, ultimately bears do want to fill the entirety of this gap, just entirety of it, and kill that momentum. If any of this gap remains open, that's going to make things hectic for the bulls, and bulls going to try to bring it up and fill this gap. And so if I just kind of zoom out here a little bit, give you a little bit more overall recap, we still got 3 down gaps that needs to be filled. A little gap here, and that's when things got really hectic, remember? And then this gap hasn't been touched yet, and then this gap is partially filled. So there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. We are currently, the price is currently residing above my short-term moving average. We've seen that before, and you can see when the gap wasn't filled, tankage came later. So still a vulnerable area. Only difference today is a pretty sizable gap is here, but we did see some of those gaps before that got filled very, very quickly when the bears came and when people started panicking, exiting in fear, right? So it's still vulnerable area. Because this gap wasn't fully filled, I still can say the short-term sentiment is bullish. I have to say in the short term, and because a gap, as of today, things can change as of tomorrow. As of today, because a gap is open, price is back above my short-term moving average. I have to say it's neutral in the short term with the micro term bullish momentum. Short to mid term, I would have to say still a bit bearish in the short to mid term, because again, we got these lower highs that's still working here. And this is still, as of today, can we say that that's still a lower high? Yes, you can see these lower highs going on. So buyers have made a good progress here last couple days, needs more. And my midterm moving average currently residing at 443. So before we can change the sentiment, right, to the bullish side in the short term, bulls need to fill this gap and get up here and fill that gap and make that equal highs and ultimately make it higher high for the first time. So still a lot of work that needs to be done for the bulls. Still a vulnerable area. Still, can there be some kind of shenanigans? Yes, because this gap wasn't filled, this down gap wasn't fully filled, and that makes it a little bit more worse, little bit more vulnerable for the buyers. Let's check out that oscillator here. So oscillator is climbing higher with these higher lows. We're getting to the overbought level now. You can see right here, we're not at extreme overbought, but we are at the overbought level. You can see it right there. That's the last time when we did see that oscillator hitting that level, did see that little consolidation and just tanked for like several days or so after gapping down. So that's kind of what I mean when there's these gaps not filled. We did see that kind of last entire day, kind of a dripping lower price section. The oscillator is telling us bulls are starting to get tired. And also bulls did, I know I said it like 4 or 5 times times in this video. Bulls did not fill that gap. They should have filled that gap. They might have another chance tomorrow though. So let's see how the market plays out tomorrow. I would have to come back for you guys on Monday night. However, I will tweet things out on my Twitter account and stock tweets, so you can follow me there, and then I'll give you some charts and quick commentary and things like that. But I'll come back for you on Monday, right? So you guys enjoy your evening tonight. Good luck trading tomorrow. Have a wonderful weekend this weekend. I'll come back for you on Monday. We will reassess the situation. We'll see if bulls made any progress or not, or bears gonna bring in another shenanigan. We'll find out.